Napolitano, people.
Jamie, how are you?
I know to you I may look old. Hope this statement ain't too bold, but here comes the judge.
Lots of questions for the judge. And believe me, if Chris Wallace weren't moderating this debate, the next in line would have to be Judge Napolitano. He'd get right to the bottom of things. How you doing, friend?
Oh, I'm great, my man. You're very kind, very generous, very flattering to say that.
We've got two things going on, and our listeners are very concerned about two things. I'll get to the FBI thing right now, and then also, are you aware of this James O'Keefe tape and the DNC and the paid people to incite people and the Trump lines, that kind of thing?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, then I won't ask you about that, but I'll ask you a hypothetical about that. But I'll go back to this undersecretary communication with the FBI. I know they call it quid pro quo, but isn't that also bribery, or what is this?
You know, it really depends on what happened and how it happened. So I'll give you two scenarios. If Patrick Kennedy, a Deputy Secretary of State, and we are now in 2015, Hillary is out of office, and Kennedy is working for Secretary John Kerry. Remember him?
Yeah.
If Kennedy said, I need you to change this document after it's been subpoenaed, after it's in your custody, after it's being considered in a criminal investigation, and if you do change it, we'll open up some cushy slots for FBI agents overseas. Well, that is an offer to commit a bribe. An offer. It's not a bribe because the FBI rejected it. On the other hand, if the FBI agent said, we've been trying to get ourselves into the Middle East where right now the State Department doesn't want us, is there any way you can help us get there? If the FBI initiated it, then obviously it's not an offer for a bribe. Now, the reason I say the second part is because that's the Hillary Clinton camp version of this. To support that version is the observation that nobody was charged with this. Man, you make an offer of a benefit to an FBI agent, they are going to slap you immediately with an attempted bribe. There is nothing they guard more assiduously, or used to guard more assiduously, than their own reputation for integrity and honesty. So we have this FBI agent talking to Patrick Kennedy, not in the context of investigating Mrs. Clinton, but in the context of what are the markings on these documents. Then this FBI agent turns around and tells the team investigating Mrs. Clinton of his conversation with Patrick Kennedy. So initially I argued that this is an attempt to offer a bribe. It's an attempt to alter evidence. It's an attempt to obstruct justice. Look, the markings on these documents are the differences between them are vague. I'll give you an example. Top secret means, if revealed, would likely cause grave, G-R-A-V-E, damage to national security. Secret means, if revealed, would likely cause serious damage to national security. Now, what's the difference between serious and grave? Somebody's judgment. So somebody's judgment in the government can move these documents from one category to another so as to broaden the spectrum of people available to read it. But the categories are never, ever, ever, ever moved after the document has been subpoenaed, after it's in FBI hands, and after it's the subject of a criminal investigation, because that's tampering with evidence.
So, all right, why then at this point, when this person says this to the FBI agent, if these documents are accurate, why wouldn't the FBI then swing automatically into action and call foul?
Either because it didn't happen the way it was portrayed in the FBI agent's report, meaning the first FBI agent, the one who had the conversation with Patrick Kennedy, initiated this offer, or whatever he said lacked credibility. Or, here's the nefarious one, orders came from the White House that nobody is going to be indicted for anything having to do with the Hillary Clinton investigation. Right. One of those three states of affairs apparently persisted here, because I have never seen an FBI agent say, someone offered me a bribe and there was no action taken on it. That just doesn't happen in the modern era.
Boy,
of course, we also don't see FBI investigations without grand jury subpoenas, search warrants, or Department of Justice oversight in the modern era until this one.
Or we don't have a situation, as you pointed out, where we have somebody who it's documented lied to the feds 5 times and wasn't prosecuted. So I guess all bets are off in this day and age.
Yes.
Wow.
And is this resonating with the public? I'm sorry to say I don't think it is. I think the public is so immune to things about Hillary Clinton's email. They're more interested in Donald Trump's extracurricular activities.
Well, I hope that the one person I'm hoping is interested in this is Chris Wallace, because he's moderating this debate. So I hope he brings this up. Quick question. So James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, has an undercover investigation that's out there with people bragging. One person's already resigned about how they were paying homeless people and mentally ill people to harass Trump supporters in line at rallies. They also say they were responsible for the riots that occurred in Chicago. Is there anything illegal about this activity?
Well, there's nothing illegal about paying somebody to express a political view, even if it's a homeless person.
Yeah.
It would be illegal if you paid somebody to cause violence, absolutely. Now, Trump was unable to give a speech. This is back in the primary days. It's not now, in Chicago. And I wrote extensively about this because of a very famous case that occurred in Chicago where in the post-World War II era, a Catholic priest was giving a speech, and there was a riot, and the government prosecuted the priest instead of those who did the rioting. The Supreme Court threw the prosecution out because the government has a duty to protect speakers from rioters. The government not only must refrain from interfering with your speech, it must protect your right to articulate your speech, particularly political speech. So if you pay somebody to interfere with a third person's political speech, yes, you have committed a crime.
Well, this story is not over then.
I mean,
Judge
O'Keefe is really one of the most fearless people on the American scene and unheralded heroes of truth.
Yes.
He's terrific. I just wish more people would pay attention to what he comes up with.
Me too, because it's out there, but not many people are. In fact, the fact that you didn't hear about it is disturbing, but you will. Judge Napolitano, JudgeNap.com, @JudgeNap. Thank you so much. You're always cutting right through it, my friend. And
all the best, my man. Until next week.
Have a great weekend, my buddy.
And you too, Jamie.
All right, that's
Bye.
Judge Napolitano.